Yo, what up, guys? It's your boy Malik from Malik Photography, and I've been asking a lot of you guys on Instagram what you guys wanted to hear throughout my wedding career and what I went through and what I've been through, and a lot of you guys have been saying you wanted to hear the craziest story that I've been through. So that's what this video is all about. So let's just dive right into it. Let's go. So it all started one day. I went to the bride's house, went to go take some prep shots. And I walk inside the house, I see the mom, I say hi to the bridesmaid. So I proceeded to go upstairs so I can say hi to the bride. So I went upstairs and the bride was getting her hair and makeup done. So I said, hello, whatever, introduce myself, blah, blah, blah. My name is Malik, and the whole 9 yards, whatever the case is. So I start taking pictures of her rings and her jewelry and all that stuff, whatever, a couple of detail shots. And then, so I asked her bride where her dress was, and because I wanted to go take some detail shots. So she ended up giving me her dress, whatever. It was still in the plastic wrap and everything. So I ended up putting it on the bed. It was still whatever in the plastic bag and everything. And so I had to open it. And the dress had a whole bunch of pins in it or whatever, right? So I want you guys to picture this before I continue this story. The bride is literally sitting right in front of me. But the only thing is that she's facing that way and the makeup artist is also facing that way. So they're not even looking at me. So they're talking to me, but she's not looking at me while we're talking. Just wanted to clarify that. So anyways, we're talking, we're vibing, we're playing music, we're having fun, blah, blah, blah. She's a cool bride. So all I kept remembering was her complaining about her dress, saying, oh, it never came on time. I had to send it back 3 times just to get it fixed again. She was complaining. And so then I asked her, I said, hey, where's your maid of honor? And she told me she went to go get some Tide or whatever at the dollar store, just in case anything happened to her dress. So I said, all right. That's cool. It's always good to be prepared, right? I'm here and I'm opening up, the dress, but at the same time, I'm looking at her and I'm talking to her. But remember, she can't see me. So I open up the dress, whatever, slowly but surely. And I'm talking to her and I look at her because we got into a very interesting conversation. So I'm looking at her. I'm like, oh yeah, this and that. I'm like, oh, okay. Oh shit, no way, blah, 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 blah. And as I looked back to open up the dress, I did not know this happened, but the whole time, one of the pins actually pierced my finger, and when I looked, there was literally like a puddle of blood like this big. And guys, let me tell you where the puddle of blood was. The puddle of blood was right here in the front of the dress, like right here. And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, at this point, my heart is just beating through my chest. I don't know what to do. She's been complaining about this dress the whole time. So she goes, hey Malik, is everything all right? And I'm like, and I'm staring at the dress and I look at her and I'm like, yeah, everything's good. So at that point, I was thinking there was 2 options. Should I tell her that this happened so we can clean it quick, or do I take this and, go and fix it myself? Obviously, I'm going to have to go and fix it myself. So what I did was I took that dress, ran to the washroom, locked the door, hung the dress, and for a second, I just couldn't believe what I was looking at. So then my mind started wandering. I'm like, okay, what do I do? Where do I start? So I started walking around the washroom, looking around. And then at the time, I had a friend. She was a very good makeup artist. So, she was used to these mistakes, I guess, probably, or whatever the case is. So, I give her a call, ring, 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 sitting there, my heart's beating. I'm sitting in the washroom and she doesn't pick up the phone. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta think fast right now. What's the second thing I did? Oh my God, you guys don't judge me. I called my mom. Guys, yes, you heard right. I called my mom, and guess what? She was not picking up the phone. So then all of a sudden, all I hear was, it was the bride's mom. she was knocking on the washroom door. She was asking me if everything was all right. So in my mind, I'm thinking, does she know that I have the, she doesn't actually know, she doesn't even know that I have the dress. She's been downstairs the whole time. So I don't know, that was totally random. Her knocking was totally random. She asked me if I was okay. She probably did it because I was in there for a little while. Yeah, that makes more sense. But anyways, she knocks on the door, and and she asked me, is everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, everything's good. I'm just finishing up. A little side note here: what if she asked me what I was doing with that dress inside the washroom? That would have been so embarrassing. I wouldn't even know what to say. So I called my mom. Mom doesn't pick up the phone, and I'm running around. I'm looking around. I said, okay, you know what? Let me get some tissue, put some water, maybe a little bit of soap, and let me clean this dress. So everything's happening so quick. So I take the tissue, I put the water in the soap, and I take the dress and I start rubbing the dress. Guys, don't judge me on any of this. This was my first time. I was panicking. I don't know what was happening. So I started rubbing the dress. And as I was rubbing the dress, guys, I made this worse. Like, the blood started, spreading out everywhere. It just started getting worse. First of all, that tissue was like from the dollar store. The whole tissue just kind of disintegrated. There was pieces all over, and I was making this absolutely worse for myself. So now I'm looking at the dress and I'm thinking, okay, whoo, like, I gotta go and tell the bride, like, I'm done. And I said, you know what? Let me try one more thing. So, took more tissue, started rolling in my hand, put more water, more soap. Guys, I'm telling you, I took this dress and I started, instead of, rubbing it, I started dabbing. Guys, at this point, let me just tell you, the blood is probably like, the puddle's like this big. Like, it's a circle. It's a big circle. So I start dabbing the dress. I start dabbing it. I'm sitting there for 1 minute dabbing this dress the whole time. And all I hear is the bride calling me, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll be there just now. And she's like, is everything okay? You doing okay with the dress and stuff? I'm like, yeah, everything's good. I'm just looking for somewhere to hang it. I don't even know if she knew that I was in the washroom. I'm not too sure because she was still in that room. So I said, yeah, whatever, everything's good. So I started dabbing it. Guys, I'm not lying to you. I think that day God was on my side, because literally all the blood just came off the dress. I was so happy. I wanted to cry tears of joy. So now there's a big puddle of water. Like, it was just a whole mess. So I ran downstairs, and for some reason, that particular day was a very, very windy day. So I hung the dress and started taking pictures of the dress, blah, 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 whatever. And guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, that dress dried up in like a minute or two. Like, that thing dried up real fast. So my heart is still beating throughout this whole situation. So I go and I take the dress upstairs, and I'm like, all right, like, everything's good. She's like, is everything good with the dress? I'm like, yeah, everything's good. Yeah, everything's good, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, oh my God, yeah, thanks. So I ended up going and taking pictures of her rings and stuff, and I'm standing there. I'm like, okay, while she's putting on her dress, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope she does not see this. I go inside when her dress is on, after she put it on, and I'm staring at her at this point. She doesn't know anything is happening. I'm staring at her trying. So she starts looking down and starts, going like this and going like this and looking at herself. And I'm looking at her and the makeup artist, the bride, the makeup artist, the mom, sister, everybody's sitting there looking. And I'm looking and I'm like, and then the makeup artist goes, so what do you think? And guys, she goes, perfect. I love it. Everything is good. Exactly how I wanted it to be. I don't even know what to tell you guys. I was so excited. So yeah, whatever. We went and we continued our continued the day, and everything was good after that. But whenever we'd go to the park, I would look at it. I'm like, did I really get rid of everything? This is crazy. You know what? At one point when I was in the washroom, I thought about jumping out of that window. To be really honest, I'm like, well, my career is done. I'm out. I was just gonna jump out, and then I was like, nah, I can't do this. I can't do that to this bride. Not that I would ever do that, but yeah, it was a crazy story. That was probably one of my craziest stories. Like I have so many stories for you guys. Like I remember one time, we went to Chinguacousy Park. It's a park in Brampton, and we went to go take family portraits, whatever, bride and groom. Everybody was there. The whole family was there, guys. The whole family. You know, there was a puddle of water on the floor, and the groom had to hold her so she can walk on the ledge. This was a disaster. I'm telling you guys. She was walking with her wedding shoes, her heels, and all of a sudden, she lost her footing, and her leg just tipped over the side of the ledge, and she just fell on the floor. Her she she fell over. Her heels broke. Her dress ripped, and I'm sitting there like, and everybody's like, and I'm like, this is awkward. And she falls on the floor. I tried to help her. She wasn't close to me. I tried to help her, but she wasn't close. But the groom was holding her. So I mean, it's kind of your fault. Yeah, she just totally falls on the floor, and she had to go back home. Like, it was a disaster. And this is just before the reception. She falls down. She starts screaming. She goes off. Starts screaming at the groom. Oh, why don't you this and that, this and that? And I'm standing there. I'm like, yeah, this is awkward. So then, yeah, we ended up just going to take family pictures without the bride and groom, and I think we ended up doing it later. But that was pretty awkward too. A lot of crazy stuff we see in this wedding game, guys. For you brides out there that are thinking, was that me? Don't ask. If you had to ask and it was you clearly didn't know what happened. So I'm just saying, don't ask. I've been shooting weddings for about 10 years, and I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, but that blood story, that was rare. And by the way, every time I go to a bride's house now, I tell the bridesmaids to open the dress. I started doing that for the first year because I was so nervous. Whenever I used to see these pins, I'm like, nope, not today. So I would let the bridesmaids open it. Oh, can you just open this dress? I'll go hang it somewhere. Never wanted to go through that situation ever, 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 ever again. But yeah, guys, that's my story. And yeah, guys, that's the story for today. Stay tuned for more stories, and follow me on Instagram, Maleek Photography, Maleek Photography. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.